Hello everybody, my name is Elena. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a tier ranking video. I haven't done one of these before, but I do tier rank a lot of things just in my own time and with my friends. But I saw Sarah Crowley tier rank her 5-star reads, and I thought it was a really good idea. I'll put her video in like the description box so you can go watch it. I thought it was really fun because I used to give out 5 stars like really easily in the beginning, and I'm kind of a bit more strict now. Although I think a lot of people would still say I'm pretty lenient when it comes to giving 5 stars. Listen, now I just go off of vibes, and now I have like books, other like 5-star reads to compare that book to be like, oh, like, does it deserve 5 stars, you know? So I thought this would be pretty fun to do. So let's pull up the tier list so I can like explain the tiers. These are the tiers that I've created. There's 6 of them, and I will explain why there's 6 and not 5, even though it doesn't really matter because it's my tier list, but we're gonna explain anyways. So the first one is Near and Dear to My Heart. This one is pretty self-explanatory, like these are like my top reads. But you see, under it says Loves of My Life. These 2 tiers are basically like the same rating, like 6-star reads, but Near and Dear to My Heart are basically like what the tier says. They're basically like my favorites. Like if I had to pick a favorite out of my children, this is what this would be. This is that tier. So these are basically the same ratings. They're on the same level, but these ones I hold near and dear to my heart. And then we have solid 5-star reads. These are books that absolutely deserve the 5 stars, but they're not 6-star reads. Okay, like there's other reads from my 5 stars that I like more. And then we have comfort reads. This means that maybe they don't deserve the 5 stars, but I loved them enough and they're like comforting, so I continuously like come back to them or think about them, so they get 5 stars. And then we have the needs to be checked tier, because I don't think I would give these 5 stars if I reread them. So that's that tier. And then we have from a different era. Because some books I genuinely think did deserve the 5 stars when I read them, but I'm not that kind of person anymore. And if I were to read it now for the first time, I probably wouldn't rate it 5 stars. Those are the tiers. And we have 42 books. I was writing them down in my notebook yesterday. I was like, this is too many. So we have a lot to get through. First one over here that we can see is A Court of Silver Flames. This is pretty recently read, and it's immediately going in Loves of My Life because I adore this book. I loved everything about Nesta and Cassian. This is the only book from ACOTAR that I gave 5 stars. So this has to be here. Then we have Act Your Age, Eve Brown. This is the 3rd book in the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert, and I'm going to give it a solid 5-star. Because it was really good. It's not a 6-star read, but I remember like being obsessed with it. Like it was so good. It was so fun. I highly recommend the whole series. And then, okay, there's going to be a lot of Kristen Becker Ritchie books on this tier. You will be seeing them a lot. So the first one that's over here is Addicted After All. And this goes in Loves of My Life. Because this book wrecked me. Like, this is the last book in the Addicted series. So this is the last book in Lily and Lowe's kind of relationship. Yeah, I was not okay reading this book. And I had to finish it the day before going on holiday, so I was a mess the next day while we were traveling. And then we have All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. See, this one's a bit tricky because I don't know where to put it. Because I think it actually might go in comfort reads, which is kind of weird because it's like Criminal Minds, but YA. I've talked about it a lot. But it's like, it's more than a solid 5-star read, but it's not a 6-star read, but I absolutely adore this book. And I love Sloane a lot from this series, and she's like a comfort character, so I think it makes sense for the book to be in comfort books. And then we have Alphas Like Us. All of Marrow's books are going to be in Near and Dear to My Heart. I'm so sorry, that's just the way it's going to have to be because I adore every single one of these books. There's the first one. Don't worry, it's going to come up in here anyways. But Alphas Like Us is the first one, and that immediately goes right over there. And then this is the last book in the Naturals, and this is Bad Blood. And I think I'm going to put it in a solid 5-star read, because I think everything that came together in this book was really well done. It was like a masterpiece, and I was in awe reading the book, so I think it literally does deserve the 5 stars that I gave it. Then we have Clockwork Prince. See, I read this a really long time ago, and I'm sure I'd love it just as much now, but I think for now it's gonna have to be in solid 5 stars. I don't think I can put it higher because I don't even think I remember half of the things that happen in this book, even though The Infernal Devices is literally like one of my favorite series from Cassandra Clare, so we're just gonna put it there. You have Crooked Kingdom. Crooked Kingdom and Six of Crows I recently reread, so this is, I don't need my memory refreshed. Immediately goes in Loves of My Life. It's so good. It's like, I have no words, okay? It's just, I love it. I love the plot, I love the characters, I love everything. There's Damage Like Us. Okay, we mentioned it. There we go. I have to put it first, okay? Because that's the first in the series. Near and dear to my heart. I always will Oh, wait, I always reread this book. Should I put it in comfort reads? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Wait, let's do it like this. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. That makes more sense because I've reread this book the most out of any single book that I've ever reread, but also from any like Us book. This is the one I reread the most. Like, it's my absolute favorite. Okay, and then we have a Shatter Me book. So this is Defy Me. I think this is gonna go in a solid 5-star read because it had a lot of twists and turns, and I think that's why I gave it 5 stars, but it's definitely not a 6-star read. There is a different book in the Shatter Me series that is a 6-star read, and if you've read Shatter Me, you'll probably guess, but we'll get to that book later. And then we have Fangs by Sarah Anderson. Ooh, I don't know where to put this because I read it a long time ago and it's also really short. So maybe I'll put it in Needs to Be Checked. I think I'll put it in Needs to Be Checked because I don't know if I'd give it 5 stars now, although I probably would, but just like in case, we're just gonna put it there. At the time when I was reading them, I read all the Fence volumes that were out. I don't know how many are out right now, but I think it needs to go in Needs to Be Checked. Or no, I'm gonna go from a different era because I really liked it when I first read it, but I don't know like if I'd like it as much now. And I probably should reread it, but I don't know. It's just like from a different time in my life. Okay, I don't really read graphic novels that much anymore. I used to read them a bit more back then. Another Kristen Becker Ritchie book, Fuel the Fire, definitely in Loves of My Life. Okay, I love this book. It's Connor and Rose's second book, so it's a part of the Calloway Sisters series, not the Addicted series. I love everything about Connor and Rose. I love their relationship, and I liked the character development that both of them got. It's really good. And then we have Headstrong Like Us, absolutely near and dear to my heart. This is a beautiful book. That's like literally how I can explain it. It's literally beautiful. That's all I can say about it. We have Heartstopper. Heartstopper I think is going to go in comfort reads, even though I haven't reread it. But every time I think about Heartstopper, I'm like, oh, that's so good. Like, it's so cute. And season 2 came out recently. I haven't watched it yet, but I really like Heartstopper. Highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. Now we have Hothouse Flower. This is going in near and dear to my heart because this is my favorite Rake and Daisy book, and it's so good. Like, it starts like everything. And Daisy is like one of my favorite characters of all time, along with Maxima from the Like Us series. So this book has to go in near and dear to my heart. It can't go in any other tier. Then we have Ignite Me. This is the book that I was talking about. This goes in Loves of My Life because it was amazing. Like, I don't think I've ever met a person who's read Shatter Me and not said that Ignite Me is their favorite book. Like, you just have to. You have to. Then we have Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I read this pretty soon after I got back into reading again, so definitely from a different era. I didn't finish reading the series because I heard some stuff about the author, and I just didn't want to get into it, so it was good when I read it at the time, and I don't think I'll be ever, like, revisiting the universe. It's also sci-fi, so that was a really interesting choice for me. Then we have It Happened One Summer. This is definitely going in solid 5-star reads because this is the first Tessa Bailey book that I ever read, and I think I might have read her best one first, because I've read other books from her since, and I haven't loved them as much as this one. But I adore this one. It's like grumpy sunshine, kind of a fish out of water type of storyline. I really liked it. Brendan, the guy in this book, is so fine. Like, I don't know, he's just so good. Please read the book if you haven't. Next up, we have Kiss the Sky. Again, in Loves of My Life. I don't need to explain. It's a Kristen Becker Ritchie book. It's a Connor and Rose book. I have to. Okay, A Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. I have a rereading vlog of this up on my channel, so it's definitely going in comfort reads. I love this whole series, but this particular book I could reread over and over again. I love it. Then we have Long Way Down by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This is also going in near and dear to my heart. Again, it's a Razy book, but also I have never cried on a book more than this book. Like, I don't even think I cried this much in Some Kind of Perfect, which is the last book of the series. This is the one that made me sob my eyes out, and I literally couldn't breathe in bed while reading it. Like, it was an experience. You have Lord of Shadows. I haven't reread this one, but it's definitely going in solid 5-star reads, because I know I read it with a break in between, right at the middle of the book. So for that reason, this is where it has to go. Then we have Lovers Like Us. Immediately in near and dear to my heart. I adore this book. I adore every single Marrow book, but it's just, it has to, okay? There's no other place for it. You have Queen of Air and Darkness. I remember adoring this one, so it goes in Loves of My Life, because I especially loved the epilogue of Queen of Air and Darkness. If you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. It's so good, and the art in the book is amazing, so it made the whole experience better. This is another recent addition to my 5 stars, and it's Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This one has to go in Loves of My Life, I think. Yeah, I think that's where I need to put it, because it was so good. I literally, most of these I can't explain, and I feel like I'm just going around in a circle. But it's so good. You need to read Throne of Glass. Videos of me reading Throne of Glass will be coming soon. I just need to edit and finish the series so I can upload the videos. We then have Restore Me. This is going right next to Defy Me. It was really good and really twisty, but I don't think it deserves to be in Loves of My Life, because it wasn't a 6-star read. It was more shock value, you know? Ruin and Rising. Ruin and Rising has to go in comfort reads, because I remember adoring this book. Every single thing about it, just, yeah. And I picked it up a couple of days ago just to reread through it, my tabs and stuff. I got the same feelings again, so this has to be in comfort reads. This is my favorite book from the Grisha trilogy. Siege and Storm. Siege and Storm goes in, oh, well, actually, I think Siege and Storm needs to be checked, because I don't think it actually deserves 5 stars. I think the ending just really shocked me and I really liked it. But the rest of the book, I don't think it was 5 stars for me personally. Six of Crows immediately next to Crooked Kingdom and Loves of My Life. It's a sin if I don't put it here, so that's where it's going. Some Kind of Perfect. Some Kind of Perfect goes in near and dear to my heart. This, if I had to pick a favorite book from Addicted Calloway, it would be this, because it includes all of the couples, but because also it's just a completely amazing, earth-shattering book. I know that's really dramatic, but I adore these characters, and you get to meet the Lycus kids in these books, but as kids, and then you get their books and their romances. It's so good. Please read it. Then we have the 3rd book in the Inheritance Games right there. What was it called? The Final Gambit. I think this goes in solid 5-star reads. I know a lot of people don't like the other 2 books in the series. I gave all 3 of them 5 stars, so they're gonna show up in this tier list and tier ranking, but I really liked this one. Then we have The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. The Gilded Cage has to go in Loves of My Life. It was so good, and it introduced me to quite literally one of my favorite characters of all time. This is the 2nd book in the Prison Healer trilogy, and I highly recommend you read it if you haven't, because it's so good. It's very twisty, and it's YA fantasy, and it's just perfection. This is the Hawthorne Legacy. I would have put the UK edition because that's the one that I have, but I couldn't find it on the internet, believe it or not. So this goes right next to The Final Gambit. I just really liked it. I don't know. I enjoyed all 3 books. I know a lot of people don't, but I did. And then we have the first book, which is The Inheritance Games. And I actually think I'm going to put it in Loves of My Life. Oh, wait, no. Maybe Comfort Reads, because this was really fun and I feel like I would like to reread it. But I only reread the first book because it was really fun and the puzzles were really interesting. And you like get to meet these characters and they're all kind of eccentric and stuff like that. I don't know. It was really fun. We then have The Lives of Saints, which is right there, by Leigh Bardugo. And this is basically like the Bible for the Grishaverse. I love this book and it's really pretty, but I don't think it deserves to have 5 stars. I think it goes and needs to be checked because while it was good, I don't think I can give a Bible-like book 5 stars. Like, I know it was really good and the writing was really nice because it was like short stories about the saints, but I don't know, I just feel like the tier needs to be checked. It fits the book quite well. Then we have The Prison Healer. I already mentioned this. This goes in Loves of My Life. Absolutely adore this series. Then we have Maggie Stiefvater with The Raven Boys, and this goes in near and dear to my heart. This book blew me away. It's one of my most annotated books of all time, besides Damaged Like Us. It's so good. We then have The Reaper by Runix, which is the second book in the Darkverse series by Runix, and I think this needs to go in Loves of My Life. That's, I think, fits the book, because I adore it, and I adore Tristan and Marana, which are the main couple in this series. Well, in the first 2 books, and I don't know how to explain my feelings towards this book to you because I adore it. Like, you just need to read the Darkverse in order to understand how I feel about this book. Then we have Cassandra Clare's The Red Scrolls of Magic. Magnus and Alec are one of my favorite couples of all time. So it's no surprise that this book is here, even though I haven't read the second one. This is the second book in the Eldest Curses series. This can go in a solid 5-star read. I feel like if I reread it now, I would also love it because I remember it having such good quotes. Dude, it's so good. And it's co-written with Wesley Chu, and I thought like that you'd be able to notice. I didn't. I loved the entirety of this book, and I highly recommend people read it if you've read the other Cassandra Clare books because I feel like it's a really good series to read. Like, if you just want to dive back into the world, and they're not that big. Like, you can see how tiny it is compared to all of her other works. Really good. We then have The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. This is going from a different era because if I read it now, I don't think I'd give it 5 stars, but it was definitely 5 stars when I did read it. So I'm not going to do it dirty. It's by Mariana Zapata, and I love Mariana Zapata, so this is where it's going. And lastly, we have Thrive by Kristen Becker-Ritchie. Can you guess where it's going? Loves of My Life. I don't think I can put a Kristen Becker-Ritchie book in like just a solid 5-star read or any of the other ones except for maybe Comfort Reads because that's where I put Damaged Like Us. Okay, that's the tier list. I think I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna change anything. I'm really happy with how it looks. I think we did a good job. You were there for moral support. Okay, we did this together. I might do a video soon where I try to reread some of my 5-star reads to see if I'd still give them 5 stars, but we'll think about that later. I have a lot of other things to read, and currently I'm not reading anything because all I want to do is watch Criminal Minds. So that's another problem that I have in my life. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. You can like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.